So here is the pocket I just cut that you can see. I fold the pocket at a total of the chest, that's the wideness of the chest, is going to be a total of 5.5 inches. You can see that. And the height of the pocket is a total of 7.5 inches. So it's going to be a big pocket in the front. I'm just doing only one. So it's just a very simple design. I believe you guys would have seen this maybe somewhere or outside. It's just going to have a touch of brown on the pocket side, as you can see, like that. Just a touch. And it's going to have a hook, this metal hook on the chest that will come from the top straight to the down. So let's go to the sewing machine and I'll show you guys the process of how I do this. So I cut this fabric just like 2 inches so I can fold it together to have a total of 1.25 of an inch. You can see that. So the length itself is going to be 3 inches. So I'm going to cut out 3 inches from here. So I'll use the 3 inches to, so I believe you guys can see this. So this is the one that will carry the metal, which is the buckle itself, you can see. So I'll be able to like stitch it to the pocket itself, while I'll be able to, this one will simply go from inside of the hook and outside. Just a very basic design. So I'll have to just gum the fabric together and gum this one also before I'll attach it to the fabric. So let's go to the sewing machine and do that as fast as possible. So basically the first thing I'll be doing on this side is the very simple pattern. So at this place I'll be joining that just a touch of a brown, you can see that. So I'll just be stitching just like 1/4 of an inch at that side. So after stitching 1/4 of the fabric, you can see, I'm going to turn it inside. You can see. And I'm going to stitch this place. You can see that, just to hold it down behind. You can see what I have. So this is what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to trim this out. I'll just cut it out. So after cutting it out, I already put hemming gum to hold this one down. You can see how straight it is. So the next thing I'm going to do, hold this one at the down. So I'm just going to input it just like this. From this side, put it, and I'll use it to cover the center metal. You can see that. So it's going to cover it. You can see what I have. You can see that one is quite longer than the other. So I'm going to use that one to cover up the other one. You can see that. So after that one covered it, I can simply get my center point on the pocket. At the center point of the pocket, you can see that. Just get your pocket center point and make sure it is straight when you're doing that. So I'll just stitch it like that, then I'm going to cut it out. So you can see what we have at the center point, just like that. It's a very simple design, and I believe you guys are going to like it. So this is what that's going to look like. You can see. So simply, I already used hemming gum to close up that edge so it won't be obvious. So I'll just put it inside like that. You can see. You can see what that will look like. I believe you can see that. So the next thing we're going to do now is to fix it to our borders. You can see I already cut my borders and already fixed it to, I already joined my shoulders and stuff. So just to get my center point on my borders. So I'll take you guys to the table now. So I'm going to get the center point between the chest, the shoulder, and the length. So if you don't know this, this is how I used to measure this. So I'll be able to like stitch it to the borders. So let's go to the table and show you guys how that's done. So right here, in order to get my center point, this is how I usually do that. From the shoulder, so this is an adult, the center point of the pocket is going to be under your nipple point if you're sewing for a female, but basically it should be under your nipple point. So that's 9 inches. Nipple point is always around 8.5 and 8 inches. So here I'll be using 10 inches. It will be under the bust. So it's going to be, I will use 10 inches. So let me zoom in here. So it's always between 9 inches, 9.5 or 10 inches for an adult. If it's a tall person that use like a trouser length of 40 plus, go for 42, 43, go for like 10 inches. So between your gaiters, which is your center point of your chest, I usually go between 2 inches to 2.5. That's what I do, depending on the wideness of the chest, but the maximum you're going to use is 2.5. You can see that, depending on the wideness of the chest. If you're going for any chest bigger than 46, you'll be going for 2.5, but a chest of around 42, 40 plus, you'll be using 2 inches. Don't forget that. So I believe you guys are going to remember this, so in case you want to like add a pocket to your front of your senator, this is how it works. So let me zoom backwards so you guys can see where the pocket is going to be like that. That's after I join my shoulder. That's when I usually attach my pocket. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to simply join it to the, after getting the center point, I just want to like pin it down so it won't like shake or be shaking. You can see that. So the down part, also measure my 2 inches, make sure it is set. You can see. So I'm just going to pin it. You can see that. So I'm going to pin the downside and the side also. Make sure you have your 2 inches accurately. Make sure it is straight. You can see that. So also put another pin at this side. So you can see, so what we have to do now is just to stitch it all around, and we can simply attach that side also to the borders and stitch it and give it a good ironing from the end. So you can see what we have now. You can see that. So I'm just going to stitch it all around. Make sure your hand is straight and make sure you're stitching at the tip of the pocket itself. You can see, make sure you're aligning it and it's not shaking at all. You can see that. You can see. You can see that. Make sure your hand is straight when you're doing this place. You can see that. And make sure you are stitching the tip of the pocket itself. It's as simple as ABC. You can see what we have. So at that side which is brown, I'm not going to stitch it over it. I'm going to stitch it around the corner. I'm going to stitch around the brown side. You can see that. You can see. Very, very simple. I'll just stitch around the brown edge. You can see what I have. You can see, make sure your hand is straight when you're doing that side. Very, very simple. So that is it. You can see. All you have to do is just to give it a good ironing. These edges, you're going to iron it from behind so that it's going to be balanced. And make sure you're using a steam iron when you're doing that so that the back side is going to be balanced. So this one also, you can see, make sure you balanced it well and the fabric is straight on the chest. You can see that. Make sure it is straight. Then you can simply stitch it to the bodice itself. It's a very, very simple design actually, but it's classy and very, very, just a simple design. You're going to love it. And if you want to buy the metal, you can just buy it at those people that sells shoe cobbler materials and shoe making tools and stuffs like that. So just attach that side. You can see. So this is what we are going to have, as simple as A, B, and C. And I hope you guys like the video. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumb up. If this is the first time on the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys on my next video. You can do 2 of this on both sides of the pocket, like on both sides of the chest. It's a lot cuter if you try that. So this is what we're going to have. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. Peace and do enjoy yourself.